Hi guys, I hope you're doing well. As promised, I'm doing the first part of my Slaanesh series, which is uh, fairly basic stuff. A lot of advanced users will already have worked this out, but I know there's a lot of casual players who might not have done because I speak to them on Reddit. So today I'm just going to talk, hopefully very briefly. I have a habit of waffling about how to set up your buildings for Slaanesh and the different options. And again, as I mentioned, there's two different playstyles. Domination, which is more based around vassalizing people, and Destruction, which is more based on just wrecking everyone, but still doing some vassalizing along the way. So, this is a campaign that I've been playing. Again, I'm on turn 100. That's most people's late game. For me, it's about mid game, but the whole thing with Slaanesh is that you need to plan ahead to maximize your gains, and by me showing you ahead, I think it's the best way for you to see how things work. So in this, if you watch the intro, you will understand fully why we want to get a lot of money from our buildings early. But if not, I'll just give a quick refresher. So if we look at the campaign here now, I've built all the way around here, which I wouldn't normally do in a domination campaign, but I have. And Lariel is has been dominated by me, so she's got all this. Marathi has picked a fight with us, and she's even landed on here when I was not paying attention. And we're getting, a decent amount of money for turn 100. It's not outrageous, but it's good. And as you can see, most of it I don't know what to do with because I've got so many of these. Disciple armies, whack out another one there, that I kind of don't need many armies. I've got 3 or 4 good ones. That's a low level one, but so yeah, this is the situation at the moment. If we look at where Marathi is, she's rank 3. Nagron's 1 and I'm 2. I think it's a bit unfair. So looking at the vassal income, it's 15k, nearly 16k, and my overall income is 19k. Now, I have Marathi ready to be dominated, other way around. And one of the main ways to get to this point is to give them money. And that may seem counterintuitive. It's like, well, I don't want to be giving anyone money. I want to be earning money. But in this sense, you really have to spend money to make money. So when you're giving them, it tends to be for me a medium gift of about 4k at this stage of the game. And you can only give them a gift once per turn financially. If you do it again, you won't get hardly. You've just wasted your money basically. So, but for Marathi, I probably got halfway round just by using gifts from my cultists. But the rest of it, I just bunged probably a total of about 8k. But if you're going to do it all money-wise, it's probably going to be about 20k. But we'll focus more on that on the vassalization episode. But I want to pop this now and see where my 19k and 15k vassal money has gone. So that's gone up to 27k. So 14, so it's 8. So I've essentially gone up 8, and my vassal tribute has gone up, about 8.5 as well. So that's nice, and it's going to stay like that. But it maybe after a bit of time, depending on how many wars you're getting all your vassals into, it drops a little bit, but not by much. And I'm just being stupid on this campaign and vassalizing. I'm actually trying to collect heroes, so I'm vassalizing all sorts of people who hate each other, and some of them now hate me. But they still have to cough up the money. So that's why we do this. So let's now look at the buildings, and if we look at my starting settlement here for Mikari, ignore this for the minute, let's just look at the building chain. So we're going to start off by looking at the smaller regions because it's easier. So you have a chain building here that gives control, and when you have high control, it's going to spread corruption. And if you have it at the highest level, it gives you +4 corruption in adjacent provinces. That's really good, regardless of whether you're trying to destroy them through force or to vassalize them. It makes it easier to vassalize them if you have Slaanesh corruption in them, in their area, and it makes it, if you're doing destruction, it allows you to just march all your armies into their province. But yeah, well, there's tricks for that, so we'll cover that another time. So, but this building is important to the conversation of money. So, this benefits from positive control, and if there isn't positive control, like you can see here, then that corruption in adjacent provinces is just going to waste, literally. If we look at the money building, that benefits from low control. In fact, it doubles the amount of money I get from that building if control is below 50. The second money building is this one, and it generates a little bit of income, a little bit of growth, and gives you 50% from that region extra. And if you look again, when control is just negative, so anything below 0, it will reduce control even further. So these two buildings are all about having low control, and this building is all about having high control and spreading corruption. So to maximize both our money and our spread of corruption, we never, these two and this are mutually exclusive. You rarely, except for in your starting province, want to mix these. You never want to. The larger settlements has a similar one, but it instead gives you devotees per turn, which is just completely useless. The only thing this is good for is summoning cultists. I don't need 2 or 3 devotees per turn. I'm getting over 1,000 just from gifts per turn, so just ignore anything to do with that stuff. Anyway, so let's look at, if we're looking at the starting province, with the starting province, in the longer term, you can have it one way or the other, but at the beginning of the game, you don't really have too many options. You sort of make a mixture of the two, or just go for money here and then try and fit in some of your recruitment buildings. But if you take the next province, you can see here that pretty much all I've got is money buildings. This is the Shrine of Cain, or whatever it's called. I took that mainly to stop people doing pass the parcel with the Sword of Cain, and it actually gives some nice benefits. The Sword of Cain for destruction can have its uses, and that's again to do with control. This gives -15 corruption, which actually it helps to lower control, but you still want 100% Slaanesh corruption. So every now and then, if it's getting horrendous, I would put one corruption building there and just leave it at like level 1. But most of the time, it's fine. But when you start in a province, you're not going to have really low control. So how do we get from what might be plus 40 control down to below 50 so we get our increased income? Well, the answer is, well, there's a number of options in terms of how you reduce your control. But if we look over here in this province, all these useless people standing around most of the time, I'm building this up to be a money province, but it's not below the control level at the moment. So these 3 are slowly reducing control, minus 11 at the moment, so that's quite quickly. And you only really need to get it below 0 and then a little bit more, because these buildings will help to bring that down. Now you might say, well, doesn't that mean loads of revolts? No, it doesn't. If you keep the goblet type buildings, whatever they're called, to 2, then that should be enough to keep it low without constant revolts. And because they keep changing a lot of this stuff, I've been testing out 3 in another province here, 3 of these goblet buildings, and I do occasionally get close to a revolt. But all I do then is, like, if you see this is minus 5 now, let's say it was about to revolt, just get again one of these, the millions of these armies I have, and just pop them in there, and plus 1 now, so that will sort it out. And again, if I wanted it to go down faster, I'd do raiding. The raiding might often seem counterproductive, but we're just raiding one region. Actually, I should have them all over in this region because it's earning slightly less. But it's not making much difference. If we look there, there's 27.5k. If I turn these people off raiding, yeah, it's not a huge amount. And this, as soon as I get it down below, then that's going to be giving me loads of money, which will make up for it. That is in positive control. However, if I did want to get that control down, then I have my diktats here. And you notice a lot of this is very similar to the high elves and the dark elves now as well. So if I want to lower control, I press this, and it will cost 70 devotees, which is meaningless, but control costs 50. So it will reduce control by 50. And then that would put it in the negative, and if it's not negative enough to put it below minus 50, then these buildings should do their work to get it down there. So the only other thing to take into account is resource buildings and docks, ports, wherever they are. Excuse me. So basically, in an ideal world, you would build your money creating buildings, provinces, in a province that has a good number of resource buildings in, because they give plus 15% extra. But I wouldn't get too hung up on it. Doesn't really matter that much, and we're not just going to be thinking about money in the long run. We're going to be thinking about spreading Slaanesh corruption. So we'll come to that another time. But until then, try and build your money provinces in ones with resources, but don't get too hung up on it. So the only other thing to consider after that is what do you use for your capital building. Now this is just hit tier 5, and so I'm going to be getting rid of that, even though it's giving me money. This is not a money province. I'm going to switch from growth to corruption again, and what I really want to be doing is spreading as much corruption around here. If we go corruption, not vampiric, Slaanesh. So you can see where my corruption is. It's spread nicely on this side, but it's not great on that side. And that's simply because Ilaria was running around this part and she removes corruption. So again, don't do what I'm doing here. Ideally, Ilaria was not a very good person to dominate. I just, like I say, I thought be the quickest way to get handmaidens. So going back to this building gives us some benefits for military. So you certainly want this in your provinces like the one I have here. Minus 25% cost for the buildings, minus 25% for the recruitment, and it spreads +6 corruption in adjacent provinces. So that's good. That's really good. It's spreading a lot. And like I say, most of our provinces where we have recruitment buildings, they're going to be the one where we put the odd corruption spreading one. So I'm probably going to delete this, shift it over there, and put the corruption one here. So I'll be spreading 4 from that building, 6 from this building, and then I think it's 1 or something, 3 from there. So you can really quickly spread corruption into your neighbour's province. So the answer as to whether you should, what of these buildings you should use, is always this for your recruitment / corruption provinces. And then with this, it's situational. So the only thing, this doesn't give you the corruption spreading. It does reduce the cost of infrastructure buildings, which is those money buildings, by 50%, and it adds control. So I tend to not use that. If you're early game and you need to set up a money building province quickly and you haven't got much money, then maybe you would go with this. But bear in mind, you might need another one of the goblet buildings because of the +5 control there. So this one's situational. I pretty much don't use it. The construction cost thing, it's not that exciting. I've normally got enough money. I normally get my first vassalization probably, I don't know, I can't remember, turn 25 or something. And from there onwards, you've got loads of money. So, yeah. So go with this most of the time, but if you're hard up for cash, you can pick that. So final summary then, we want to use the money further down the line to bribe people so we can dominate them. We want to split these so we have our they're mutually exclusive in our provinces, and one province will be dedicated to building money and making money, and then your other province will be set up to spread corruption, and that's where you'll put your recruitment buildings in as well. Now, if I was playing a destruction campaign, and let's just say I was at war with Lyril here, I'm using a money building here, but maybe using that as a corruption and recruitment building might be a better option to spread more over here. And again, like I say, you want to spread because you can move your armies, your disciple armies in without them losing anything. So I think that is it. So it's lasted 20 minutes longer than I was hoping for. I'll try and cut it down. But yeah, that's when you start a new campaign, that's what you want to be thinking about, is which type of province you're building where. And that's really it for the money buildings. If anyone has any questions, just feel free to drop me a comment. My channel is mainly for my own fun, and I like to use it to help other people do well in the game and enjoy the game. My goal with all of this is just to help people have fun. So it doesn't really matter whether you want to like or subscribe or any of that type of stuff, but if this has helped you, then use it to help someone else so that people can have fun when they play the game. That's it. I will come back possibly tomorrow or very shortly with likely a video on how to do how to get all these armies. Thanks very much.